y'all.
It's Nisha's network, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's all about connecting, yeah,
connect
let's
the
go.
vibe.
It's Nisha's network, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all about connecting, yeah, let's go.
Connect and feel the vibe. Connections make you feel alive. We do this every day. Let's put your business on display. Network, let's heal and pray. It's our love, we here to stay. Trust in God, He'll lead the way. We on right now, no need to wait. Let's go. It's Nisha's network, yeah, yeah. It's all about connecting, yeah. Let's go.
Well, hey everybody, how are you today? Nisha here, and in the light of this month of September, I am showing up every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Central, to share the goodness of awareness, advocacy, hope, health, and healing. And today, my special guest is none other than my beautiful niece, Jada Danae Anthony, who is the administrative assistant of our HLM Recovery Ross. Good morning. She is my schmoo. In case y'all didn't know, she will always be my schmoo, married with children. It doesn't matter. Jada, welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Now, she is not the person that likes to be in the public display, but let me just give y'all a little tip of how Jada had just heard Nisha's Network song for the first time today. I mean, she is my niece, and I cannot even believe that she has never tuned in to Nisha's Network. Okay. But thank you for listening today. She even smiled at it. I was wondering why she was smiling, and she was smiling because she heard the song for the first time. Shout out to our cousin Will, who created the Nisha's Network song for our live stream. Well, anyway, I'm here with Jada today, and today we're talking about suicide awareness and prevention. And Jada, you want to just share about what this month represents?
I feel like not only does this month represent hope, but it also represents remembrance, especially for me. Um, I a little bit about like my story and everything is
Well,
about
tell us a little bit
3
about who you are first, because we didn't dive into that. She lives in, and then she goes. She's a student, and she's a mommy, and she's come on, a little bit about yourself.
Well, outside of working at HLM Recovery, I am a mom to a 1-year-old. His name is August John. He is a very, very active little boy. I'm also back in school recently. I'm starting back at JJC. I am still undecided in my major, but I'm leaning more towards mental health and awareness. So that is the advocacy route I think I'm going to go.
Yes.
But I think that's about it. Oh, I have 4 sisters, and ages 17 to 7. So 18 to 7, I'm sorry. So
Yes, yes, yes.
I
So
have
if you're watching right now, this is a great time to go ahead and share. We want you all to share this morning because me and Jade are going to have a auntie niece candid conversation, and we're just talking real talk this morning about suicide awareness. And go ahead, Jada, and just share a little bit about September.
Yes,
And
like I said, it is as a month of hope and remembrance for me. Suicide prevention has become something that is very important in my life that I never thought would become important in my life. Not to be reiterate, but about 3 years ago in 2021, we lost my brother, John, to suicide. Um, and it was a very much life altering event for my family and everyone around us, his friends, all of our extended family, our family, as Auntie Nisha likes to say.
yeah.
It changed everyone's life in this area, in this small
Yes.
little bubble, and it happened in the matter of a second. I think it's something that needs to be talked about more because I feel like that it's something that, of course, it's something that we touch on. We say, oh, you say things like, I want to hurt myself, and people are like, "Oh no, don't say that," or they laugh.
Mhm.
But I feel like no one ever takes it seriously. So until it happens to you or someone you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I wanna pause right there because, like, never in a million years, in a million trillion zillion years did I ever think that, this would hit us the way it did. Now, I do for frame of reference, we lost a very dear cousin. Jada was not even, she might have been little. Yes, you were born, but you were little. And, my cousin, Kenneth Fuller, who died by way of suicide years ago. And Kenny was he was a father, he was a husband, but he also was a very calm person. Like he was very quiet and very solitude. Like that's all the way I remember him. And of course, younger than me. But I want to say that when your nephews are your sons and your nieces are your daughters, so it hits you in the stomach a little different. And then your sisters are your real sisters who and brothers are your real brothers in terms of my brother in loves that have to walk through this journey is hard. And so our family is very, very close, right, Jada? We are very
Mhm.
close. People that know
Definitely.
we're probably like a pack of wolves or a herd. But we love each other dearly. But the thing is that we weren't prepared for this, right? And so I want to bring up and ask you because I remember that day, and I don't really want to hone in on the day of what we had to walk through. But me and your Uncle Wesley were with your parents when we came to pick you up from school. And I want to talk about the sensitivity of young people these days where they don't really I don't know, or not social media is so big, but just even the way you found out. I just want to say that. Can we talk about that a little bit about the insensitivity of people?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like and this is probably only my opinion, but I feel like in my family, I'm the only one that went through it in this way. You know, I'm the only one
Yeah.
that found out in this way. But
You
I
are.
feel,
You
yeah,
are.
but I feel that everyone in it was like in a split second. It took a day and John became like, and I don't want to use this term, but I can't for lack of a better one right now, a martyr. Like the way everyone was posting him and making him like he was this it was insane to me because I didn't understand and I don't think I ever really can fully comprehend how it literally took maybe 3 hours for people to start sharing on social media. Because it felt like people didn't even take the time to digest what really happened.
Oh,
Like,
that's good. Let's pause right there because that's a whole vibe. I wouldn't have thought about it that way. But it took you said people didn't digest what really happened before they just start going at it. Is that what you're saying?
yes. But I
Okay.
think that is a common thing when it comes to us and social media. I mean, we share our entire lives on there. So, I mean, death is one and the same, you know?
Yeah. Well, okay, so let's move forward to why we're here today. So losing John was probably one of the worst things that has ever happened in our lives. But we don't want to he was a great guy and he was a light to so many and walking through depression. So let's talk about young people that walk through a season of depression where one day you think they're okay and the next couple months you're looking at them and like what is going on with you or whatever. So what would you say as a young adult who's walked this journey of lived experience, because me and Jada would be considered people with lived experience, and what that looks like is not only does everybody say, well, we could all struggle with depression, but there are certain levels of people living with experience that are different than people say, well, I've never drank, so I don't have lived experience with alcoholism. But if you are in a family member or walk with a family member or walk alongside a family member or even your best friend who's either died by way of suicide or suffered with some type of substance use addiction, then you are a person with lived experience. Would you agree with that, Jada?
Yes, I would.
Okay, so we are people with lived experience of walking through uh suicide and walking through even addiction in some areas with family members and friends. And so, therefore, we want to bring awareness. We all want to highlight the suicide, but we want to make you aware of some of the symptoms and signs that, and from our own experience, not from clinical experience, because you can look up a lot of things, but from our own experience, what are some of the simple signs that we should be attentive to, Jada, do you think?
Um, you know, I talk about this a lot with some of my friends that I didn't feel like John presented the normal suicide signs, which are like withdrawn, you know, giving away your prized possessions, being overly like loving, or typically like signs that they are. Um, I didn't really feel like he presented those signs. I think the real one was that he got quiet. And that is a sign, but I feel like it's one of the biggest ones that he showed. Um, and I guess the other one was really not wanting to talk about his future.
Mhm.
I feel like less and less did I hear him talk about these big plans that he had for where he wanted to go and what he wanted to do. Um, but I think also, like, because, you know, John was still hanging out with his friends. Like, he was going to football games. Like, there wasn't much of a, like, I'm going to pull away from everybody. I'm going to lock myself in, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And I think that sometimes, as a parent, we can pay attention because your mom preached a message last week and she shared about suicide, and she shared about how, there were symptoms and signs along the way that her and your dad talked about with John in the months where they saw the decline, right? But I want to speak to just in general, like, I unfortunately, my assistant, her cousin just died by way of suicide. And I want to talk about the stigma of the committing suicide. I hear so many
mm,
people say, my sister committed suicide, my brother committed suicide. And we have come into a new knowledge to say that suicide, and this is my opinion, okay? Suicide is not a sin.
let me preface.
Let me preface this, my opinion. Anybody else can think what you want. Suicide is not normal. It is a mental health condition. And because I know that people could be walking around here loving Jesus. As a matter of fact, I had a recent friend who died by way of suicide this year. Father, husband, worship leader. And how do you, it's areas where you just don't really even comprehend. No one in their right mind says, I want to leave this earth unless the darkness is so deep.
Mm,
And I want to say that it's not committing a crime. What do you have to say about that, Jada?
I agree. And I remember just a little after John died being scared because, I mean, you know, some people were telling me that, you know, because he did that, he would not be in heaven. And not only just that, but I feel like it kind of does come from that, you know, like, oh, you're going to hell because you did this. So you're committing something. You know what I mean? Like you're committing a sin, you're committing a crime. I feel like it's one and the same a lot of ways. But I do not believe that. I believe that I remember Auntie Shauna telling me that after John, she sees that the Lord came and took John before he was even gone. And I feel like to some extent I believe that. And I have to believe that. Um, because he did not commit a crime. He is not in hell. I believe that he was in so much pain
Yeah.
that he did not feel like he could continue doing this any longer. And I think there is nothing wrong with that. Not wrong with the fact that he died, but wrong with the fact that he saw that he could not do this. And I have so much sympathy and empathy for John because this is hard. We all walk through things. This life isn't easy, and to make that step is I just can't I can't even think of a word for it.
It's
But
it's It's a very painful, and if you can't identify with it. So I want to just say that it's the one of the hardest decisions people will make, and you have to understand that um, we want to bring advocacy. We want to bring awareness to mental health. We want to say, go to get see therapy. We want to say, be intentional about paying attention to your young people. And so here's what I do want to say though. And it doesn't mean that John was perfect, right? We're not, none of us are perfect, right? But what we do want to say is that are we paying attention? And it's not just doing those check-ins. I love that the doctor now, and you go to the doctor's office, they give you the mental health checkup. And if you do not receive a paper for a mental health checkup, you need to ask your doctor, where's my paper for my mental health checkup? Because people need to ask the questions. And I learned, and we learned in many of our trainings through our ROSC, is that you ask the questions. Do you want to harm yourself? Even asking the words. Do you feel like you want to die? Do you feel like you need to take your life? You want to take your life. You have to say, do you want to not commit suicide, but do you want to take your life and harm yourself? And it's real hard to get out of that word commit, but we're learning words matter.
Mm.
And if you speak the words, it will make a difference. Do you have something to add on to that, Jada?
Yes, but even on the flip side of that is not being afraid to answer the questions. It's not being afraid to be honest and saying, yes, I do feel like hurting myself today, and getting the help that you need. Because there is nothing wrong with therapy. There is nothing wrong with receiving help. There is nothing wrong with, taking a trip to a mental institute. Like, not in that way, because that has such a, you think of when someone says
Yeah,
that,
like
like,
people
I'm
say the
going to the
word
crazy house.
crazy, right?
Yeah, but it's not that. It is not just that, at least. It is about receiving help, and that is all that matters, because you do matter, and if you need help, just get it.
Yeah. We know that the suicide hotline is 988, and we definitely want to put that up and say that it is the suicide hotline is 988, and I'm gonna go ahead and put that across the screen. Jada, if you could type that in for me, and then I'll post it. The suicide hotline. But we are here on behalf of our recovery program, and we definitely want you to know that there is hope and there is help. Jada, is there anything you could speak to the young and the old people about just what are some of the things we can be aware of and some of the things we can do as human beings to fight for our mental health besides go to therapy, but the conversations? Because sometimes now there's times where one time I was talking to you and John, y'all came over, and you and John and Kirsten, and you was like, I see these, you don't know what you're talking about. And I remember that so well, because I was concerned about you know your family and your mental health, and you weren't even aware. But I want to say that even in that aware moment, y'all were younger, but it's the point of I felt something. So what do you have to say to people that actually feel that there's something's going on, and they don't know what to do? You know what I mean? So what would you say in regards to that?
Um, I would say that, um, you mean as having a conversation?
Yeah,
Um,
where
I
young people will
always,
feel
I'm
receptive,
not the
right?
best with checking on people, but what I've tried to start doing is just, even if it's like a simple one liner, I'm like, is there anything you need? And what can I do for you? Because even in this season of my life right now, like, I don't have that much to give, but I still can use simple one liners to check on people and to know that I'm there. But even saying, like, I'll just shoot my friends like or my family like an I love you text. Like, I think it's simple ways to let people know that you're there without being up in their face. Because one of the biggest points my brother had made is that he felt that he had no one. And to some regard, maybe that was true. Maybe we all weren't there in the best we could have been. But I feel like if we all make it a group effort to check on people, not in such a, you don't have to be up in their face every day, but every once in a while, just check on your people. I really don't think it's a hard thing. It's very simple, actually, but it is hard in practice, unfortunately.
Yeah. How, and last but not least, I want us to, before we talk about our event that's coming up, because we only have a few minutes left, and I want to say, how do we tie in the spiritual with the natural without over spiritualizing? Because I know that's a whole lot thing. It's like, oh, we just gonna pray that you get some deliverance, or you know what I mean? How would you have wanted people to approach things when walking through mental health journeys, or anxiety, or stress, or different things like that? How would you say you would want to match the spiritual and the natural?
Um, well, walking through my own mental health journey as I struggle with things like anxiety and things like that, I feel as how I would want someone to approach it is, first of all, letting me know that they're there. Um, I mean, I don't know anyone who will turn down being prayed for. I'll always accept it. And, um, I think sometimes, especially dealing with mental health struggles, it's hard to have a relationship with God, but letting people know that the Lord is there when you need Him, and that even if you're having a hard time with your relationship with God, that can be worked on. It's never anything that you never fall too far, that you cannot come running back. So I think just letting people know
That's
that
so good. It's not forcing them. And something you said, Jada, was that um you said that not you have a hard time with God while you are walking through your mental health journey. That is a real thing. Like people think that, oh, I just lean and depend on God, and that is our source. But that's why we need other people. Now, not to push you and force you. You need to do this, you need to do that. If August comes in, that's okay. You need to do this, you need to do that. But letting them know God is here with you. And you talked, I think I've said that to you many times, and I even share with you to journal. Don't allow, you need the Lord to speak to you yourself. And he can speak to you, but also he speaks through others to say, hey, and get some help, push you to therapy, push you to spaces. And I want you to just share a little bit about finding the right therapist, because you've seen many people. So what do you have to say about that?
yes, I have been through a lot of therapists, but I'm one
And
of those
you
people that
found
is
a good
very,
one, right? You really found
yes, I found an amazing one. Her name is Jessica. I cannot pronounce her last name, so if
Ola
you can,
Dunamaye.
yeah.
Ola Dunamaye.
Um, but she's amazing, and I feel like for me personally, that the balance, like you were talking about earlier, actually, the balance between spiritual and natural, I think sometimes it can be a fine line, and sometimes there's no line. But for me personally, with how I look at things and how I think through things, there had to be a fine line, because I need to be able to deal with my real world problems, and then also be able to apply the spiritual side as well. Like, I need to be able to sit here and tell you, hey, I'm depressed, or hey, I'm struggling with anxiety, or hey, I'm struggling with PTSD, and you not tell me, I'm just going to pray for you. But then again, it goes the same way. I need to be able to sit here and tell you that I'm struggling with my relationship with God, and you not tell me, "Oh, just go take a walk. Just go sit in peace. Like, you'll find him when you need." No, there has to be a balance. And I do feel as I found that with my therapist currently, because a lot of therapists I feel like that I've been with, I just haven't found that yet. I need real world applications, but I also need spiritual word applications. So,
That's so good. Real word applications and spiritual world applications make a difference. And as Jada said, use simple one-liners. Do you need anything? Check on your people and asking the questions. If people say, I'm struggling with God, say, well, tell me more. What's your struggle? Ask the questions. Let people figure it out. Sometimes people just want you to stop and pause and ask a question, right? And if you feel the Lord leading you, and you don't have to be 50 years old. You don't have to be 75. You could be 20 years old and just saying, sometimes an ear goes a long way, but it does mean to set boundaries as well and know when it's not your place to be the healer.
Mhm.
It is not our place to be there are licensed clinical professionals and even pastoral care that can provide information and help to lead you to the spaces and places. Shout out to the Living Room Trinity Services, which is a free service for you to get therapy and help and counseling. Um, you cannot make this stuff up. God is so faithful. So I want to talk about our event real fast because we got a few minutes, Jada. What's
Okay.
coming up? What's coming up? What's coming up?
We
Let's
have our Clips and Conversations Suicide Awareness and Prevention event at CLC Tinley. It is a youth event, but we are having this event to raise awareness about suicide and its impact on our community, learn how to recognize warning signs and provide support, and connect with our peers. It is a youth event. I think I said that, but I'm just making sure. And professionals who care about mental health. And we are very excited about this. I am too. This will be my first time. This is my second time, I guess, now, because I told a bit of my story. But I will be going into depth a little bit more in an age-appropriate way about John and just all the things I've walked through with suicide and how it's made me the person I am now. So
Yes, it's called the Hope and Healing Suicide Awareness Event. And we're going to just show a few clips from some movies. I know Inside Out 2 is a big one. We know we showed Inside Out 1 for our Movie in Mind. This is actually HLM Recovery's Movie in Mind event that we have annually. Where we bring young people together and have conversations. But this year we've partnered with Christian Life Center in Tinley Park. It's my home church. And what we are doing, shout out to Pastors Harry and Crystal, who are the CLC youth life directors and pastors. And so we are one in suicide awareness. We need to have conversations because a lot of people don't know. And that is why you find that students veer off to use recreational drug assistance or social recreational coping mechanisms to help heal the pain. Well, we're going to provide, and we're going to have a clinical therapist there to provide some form of hope. And so if you all want to, if you're a pastor, if you're a youth leader, youth pastor, if you're a young adult, come hang out with us Wednesday, September 18th with the doors open at 6 p.m. You can register. Where is this registration? Okay. I can't find it. Oh, yes, you can register. It's going across the screen. Please feel free to register. Please feel free to come out. It's a free event. We'll have little dessert refreshments after the session. We'll have worship. And then we're going to have a round table with all those people, a roundtable conversations. Jada's going to be sharing her story. Jada is sponsoring this event. She is our administrative assistant, but you don't want to miss out. Ages 13, I believe, till 25. And even parents, if you want to come out, if you're not going to judge, you're going to sit and be listeners, because this is an event for our young people. This is an event for our youth to talk about it. It's in honor of suicide awareness. We're not celebrating suicide. We're causing awareness and healing so that people's lives can be saved. That is what we want. We know the love of God can permeate through people so that they don't have to feel despair. There is hope, but we have to provide the tools and resources to show people that there is hope. You also can go to our website, www.hlmrecovery.com, www.hlmrecovery.com. The form should be there where you all should be able to fill out if you want to come, if you want to inbox us. But Jada, is there any last words you just like to share with the community of the world, with wherever our platforms are? Please share this live. This is heartfelt, and we want you all to be intentional about knowing there is hope and healing, but you have to be a listener. You have to be a preparer to be able to share the verbiage. Take away the stigma behind committing suicide to died by way of suicide or lost their life to suicide, not committed. They did not commit a crime. So I'm going to stop talking because I'm passionate about it because of my own personal lived experience. But Jada, any last words that you could just share?
The only thing that I will share to that is please come to our event, but also learn to be an advocate for yourself and learn to be an advocate for the people that you love. I think it's very important, especially to advocate for yourself. I would be in very much different places if I didn't start, like even with the therapy scenario, because it is very important. And learn to check on your people and notice the signs.
All right. Notice the signs, everybody. Notice what needs to happen. And we'll see you all on Wednesday, September 18th in Tinley Park. Thank you, Jada, for your bravery and your yes to doing this. We really appreciate you. Love you all. See you next Saturday. Bye,
Thank you
everybody.
for having me.